Hello, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. We are here on the Retrocade podcast. I'm Phil.
Sean, inaugural cast, glad to be here.
Yeah, and we got also Steve on the sidelines providing us with booze and taking care of all the
amenities.
Yeah, all the amenities for us.
How you doing, guys? Great to be here for the first ever podcast.
Yeah, this is our first ever. We got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be fantastic. So first on the list of things that I want to chat about is we'll talk about Harry Shearer for a few minutes. Now, I mean, obviously we're all Simpsons fans here. We all grew up with it. You know, Simpsons been on the air since 1989, and they started with the Tracy Ullman clips, and then they got their own run. They had a 12-episode first season.
Complete monster.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's this. When you think 90s TV, especially 90s animation, you think The Simpsons.
Even 2000s, they've been running so long.
Yeah, I mean, it spawned a cavalcade of other shows. Family Guy.
Grew up with it. It was
We
influenced
grew up
on
with
everything.
it, of course.
Animation.
Our humor and the animation has influenced so much in
Simpsons
pop
did
culture.
it.
Yeah, Simpsons did it. I
Fox
mean, look,
alone owns their very soul to the
right.
entire franchise.
Yeah, you like Fox. The Fox network was stood on the shoulders of the Simpsons. You know that and the X-Files in the 90s. And, you know, you wouldn't have Family Guy. You wouldn't have Futurama. You wouldn't have
Another Mac Rating production.
another Mac Groening production, Futurama. You wouldn't have, of course, American Dad or the fucking Cleveland Show or even South Park. You know, South Park would have never got, you know, where they were without the Simpsons doing it
It
first.
opened the doors,
It
essentially.
cracked open the doors for that kind of like
Vulgar.
vulgar, you know, kind of more edgy animation. You know, before that, there wasn't much animation that catered to like
adult humor.
to an adult humor. Like, could you name anything before that?
Yeah, like in Looney Tunes and that.
Yeah, I mean,
The Flintstones basically was the most edgy cartoon show that came out.
There is the famous clip of the Flintstones smoking Winston cigarettes.
yeah, I mean, you had TV like that, but it wasn't like intent. That was just marketing. You know, it wasn't intentionally edgy. Or maybe Space Ghost Coast to Coast, or Space Ghost the original show. Maybe, I don't know. But the Space Ghost Coast to Coast, I don't think was before that.
Cable limited. That was
Well,
afterwards.
That
it
was
was
Coast,
cable.
yeah, but Space Ghost was an original show or before that.
As far as
And then
taking
they
seen
just
on
redid it.
televisions, it was
Yeah,
a limited
The most
production.
amazing thing about Simpsons was that only a few cast members did so many voices, spot on for all these different characters.
Right, you really had about 4, 5, 6 of them that did everybody. You have Harry Shearer, you have Dan Castellaneta, Nancy Cartwright. You had, of course, what's his name that's in all the movies? He played the
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria. You know, of course, is actually my favorite of all of them.
The Apu is
Oh, very good. Yeah,
Influential.
thank you. Come again. And his Mo. Yeah, that's a Mo. You want some? That's a bad Mo, but. Yeah, I mean, so you have a couple of talented voice actors that took care of this for all this time. And, of course, over the years, you know, they've been making tons of bucks. You know, they've been making hundreds of thousands an episode. You know, it's come to...
25 years of raises, you're going to make millions eventually, and that's where they are.
They're worth hundreds of millions now or close to it.
That's the issue with Harry Shearer's exclusivity.
And
he's sort of locked into one certain task, period.
Right.
And
These people will not go for a
But-
decrease in salary, so
But
at
I
some
don't
point
have-
you're just going to get.
But what is the point? His net worth is $65 million.
Yeah, if not more.
I don't think finance is an issue. He wants to just let loose. He's been sitting under
I don't
kind
know.
of restraints for so long.
Well,
They're getting a little greedy.
Well, here the deal is that Harry Shearer, you know, their contracts are up, and Simpsons got renewed for 2 more years. You know, they're going to go on until
They're going
2017.
to go on at least. They'll let it ride till.
Well, they're letting it ride because
Pot
the
tries.
show's still profitable. So, to quote Troy McClure, like, or is it Troy McClure?
There was another tragic Phil Hartman.
The
was
show, Phil Hartman was classic. Yeah, I mean, you lost a lot
all
of good
the
characters
voices.
there. You know,
Troy McClure.
Lionel Hutz, etc.
Lionel
You know?
Hutz.
I love Lionel
Yeah,
Hutz.
he was great.
Yeah,
His
but-
like office in the mall.
To quote him, you know, what will happen between now and the time when the show is no longer profitable? But the show is still profitable, and that's why Fox has renewed it for another 2 years. It's still making them money.
Money's
you know?
great. You know, keep printing.
I mean, they're huge as a franchise. You know, they're like Star Wars and franchise. They have a theme park area. They have people still buy Simpsons things. You know, with the DVD sales.
Which is no longer. They're no longer producing the DVDs for.
Well, I'm assuming there'll be digital download where there'll be revenue to be coming.
So Hulu got the Seinfeld rights. Heard that?
Yes.
Outlandish money.
That's great. You know, look at that. It made how much more money for what's his name in the Seinfeld and the Larry David?
Loudest money.
It was like another $80 million for them. They're almost billionaires.
you
They're
know,
almost billionaires.
You get a Netflix, Hulu, whatever deal.
Get a Hulu deal, and then they have
Simpsons, which is
Well, the syndication rights alone are worth billions. Like, now FXX, their TV show,
It's
is
literally
gonna be
a
running
Simpsons network.
It's the
essentially.
Simpsons network
They
now.
have a little splash some other stuff on there. I know they have the Always Sunny. They Always Sunny.
They throw Always Sunny in there, which is obviously a good show in its own right.
For not just taking the contract that was offered to him. I don't know. It might have been millions of dollars, at least $400,000 per episode, and this did not satisfy him. Of course, he says that he wants to do side projects and all of that, but in reality, does he really want to do side projects, or does he want to force them to increase his salary?
After 552 episodes, you might want to have a little more open range.
Well,
even someone like, not that it's a real example, but Mozart, 300 years ago, he was stuck doing something for like a royal court, and he wanted out.
Yeah.
They're like, are you crazy? How would you do that?
Yeah, because it's a
matter
sweet
of,
deal.
If it's your talent and you're bored, you have $65 million. You don't even care about the money as much as you just want to get out there, and you're sick of. He still wants to do it. He still wants to do the voices.
Whatever project that he wants to do is not going to be anywhere near the public. It's not going to have any effect. Where Simpsons is just.
Well, maybe he wants to do some avant-garde shit on the side.
He didn't want to stop doing the voices. He just wanted to do other stuff on the side.
To be honest, I think it's bullshit though, because the last contract up, he did the same thing. He said, he's like, all right, I don't have to get a salary increase. In fact, you could reduce my salary. But he wanted a piece of the back end. He wanted a piece of the gross. And Fox wouldn't budge because, of course, they gross so much money. So they wouldn't budge on that. So he took the contract, whatever it was. It might have been, I don't know if it was $12 million for the 2 years or a couple of years, whatever it was. And he took it. But this time around, he wouldn't do it. They offered him $7 million. I don't know what it was for episode, but it was $14 million for the 2-year contract. $14 million. It's a fucking lot of money. Yeah, I know these guys are worth almost $100 million, and he's 71, turning 72. But he's in, from what I understand, it's the fucking cushiest job in Hollywood. That's why I think that it's bullshit when you say that he wants to do other things, because literally that's a job that could half be done on the fucking phone. A lot of the people that came in as guest actors have done their shit on the phone. Even when I know Nancy Cartwright once said, like, I've done lines on the phone, and she does Bart. And so you would think it's like this easiest, cushiest thing that he could just do. It's so flexible. He doesn't have to be anywhere. He could just go to another studio and anywhere.
You don't have the luxuries of a voice actor. Yes, you literally just.
But that's my point. Is that if it's so luxurious, why not just do it? Is it greed? Does he just not want to do it anymore? He's like, fuck it, I have enough money.
25 years of doing the same job, the same voices. It might get
The thing is, it's more that he has the power to do it. Yes, there's all these YouTube guys that do a voice.
We'll talk about that in a second, too.
Fantastic impressionists that could just do anything spot on to a T.
Right.
So, Fox won't skip a beat and say, all right, hit the door. But they don't want to do that because there's going to be bad blood between, especially the fans and just the culture, the general
It seems
show.
that there's already a little bad blood on their Twitter accounts. James L. Brooks, which is one of the executive producers of The Simpsons.
Another comedic icon,
Yeah, exactly.
Will this have an effect on their viewership is the bottom line. If someone steps in that does a great job of doing the voices that Harry Shearer did, will this make the viewers...
And when you talk about Simpsons viewership, essentially, you're not having all these young kids watching it. Like, we were the young kids that watched it.
Right.
So people that have been watching are loyal viewers. So they're not going to have these kids who are like, oh, Simpsons, I love it. It's going to be people that have been watching.
I think you have a little bit of a
10,
combination. Maybe kids that'll watch Family Guy, Simpsons is on, so they'll still have it on. They might be the hugest
From a
fans.
marketing standpoint, I don't see Simpsons being very marketed at all. You don't see people wearing shirts or the memorabilia. It's a limited...
I think the merchandising is still there. I think it is. They got the what's it called in Orlando? They have the Simpsons area. The Universal, they have the...
go get your own Duff beer.
The nostalgia.
Get Krusty Burgers.
Speaking of Duff beer, I looked into purchasing
obviously, the merchandising isn't nearly as strong as it was 20 years ago. It's not timeless, but I think it's still there. I mean, you don't see everybody wearing Bart Dude shirts or don't have a cow shirts, but I think the merchandising is still there. It's still a profitable show. And would this affect viewership? I don't fucking know.
Speaking of the Duff beers, actually,
Steve, go fetch us some of the beer.
I looked into purchasing I looked into purchasing it without actually being in the Orlando theme park. And, the 6-pack was going on eBay for about $45
of Duff beer.
So you can actually purchase them in Germany, I believe. I don't know.
Oh, really? We could let's check on eBay. I'm sure they have them. They had the Buzz Cola, or was it Duff? But it was soda.
Rose Tavern. No, they have actual alcoholic beer in Rose Tavern.
I know that
in the theme park.
I know that. But didn't they had? You see, look. They had this Duff energy drink. They remember your friend had it at his apartment. They made Duff energy drink, but it wasn't beer. It was,
I think that was also a cross promotion with 7-Eleven for. I don't know. They had Krusty.
Yeah,
they had Krustios. They had.
know.
Which also had like Razor Blade included.
Yeah, right. Yeah, includes Ebola virus. You know. Yeah.
Basically, my concern is after the 2 years this contract is up, will maybe the other voice actors say they've had enough as well, and the show finally reach its end?
Well, I think they like the Bucks. A lot of them know once that's it, then we won't be doing much. What stink? The only thing I've ever seen Dan Castellaneta has done some TV shows. He was on an episode of Entourage. He was the principal.
Oh, Entourage! That's such a great plug.
I know he was like a third rate character
for opening showing.
Yeah, Entourage. Well, not the Entourage movie, which is coming out.
Got a little taste of Sasha Grey. You know, you never know.
Who wouldn't like a little put it in Sasha Grey's foxhole? But I mean, I just like their careers are probably pretty much. I mean, they're all getting older, 60 years old. So you figure that would be the end of their run. I think a lot of them figure the truth. It's a cushy deal. Why not do it? Hank Azaria's got a big taste. He just bought a fucking $20 million apartment in Manhattan. You know, or if not more than that. It might have been more
Speaking of
expensive.
their voice actors, the all-time best guest appearance she's done, I think, over 20 episodes is Kelsey Grammer as Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, that's one of the best.
He is. I think he's
He
the.
hasn't been on a new episode.
He has.
No, a couple
last
years
2-3
ago.
years,
Yeah, no, he comes on every so often.
He's made over, I think, 20 appearances or so.
Yeah, no, he comes on,
But
if
as
not
far
every
as
season,
as
like
far as guest stars,
almost that
he's
much.
definitely the number one for voice acting.
Yeah, for recurring. I mean,
recurring.
for recurring definitely. You have a lot of cool. I mean, guests.
He had 1,000. I mean, even Michael Jackson was on there.
Michael Jackson, Dustin Hoffman. Michael Jackson obviously didn't use his real name. Neither did Dustin Hoffman.
Maybe in 2 years, instead of they'll just bring on YouTube voice actors that want to take.
Right. Well, that's it. One kid, who's a voice actor, he's got a lot of he's got a lot of followers on YouTube. He's got about 500,000 followers, and he did a whole YouTube video of him like, oh, this is kind of my audition thing, and he did, Smithers, and he did all the voices that Harry Shearer does, and then some. They were all right. A lot of them were good. Would I be able to tell the difference? Yeah. And like somebody might say to me like, oh no, you couldn't tell the difference, because it's true. Sometimes you're not. But I'm very keen on that kind of shit, and not to mention I've been watching the show for that long, and I would sense something off. And he does a good job too.
A great Smithers fact was, and if you look at the first season, which is grainy footage and kind of the.
Oh yeah, frosty chocolate milkshakes.
Smithers was actually black. And,
he was darker skinned. Yeah, I watched with darker skin with blue hair. I saw it the other day.
The
I watched
producers
season 1 the other day.
Burns bossing around having a subservient.
Oh yeah, well he was darker
skinned. It would look kind of
yeah.
bad for obvious reasons.
Yeah, well yeah, PC wise, sure. Yeah, you're right. He was dark. He wasn't yellow skinned. He was like brown skinned. He was like brown for whatever reason.
He was the same color as Carl on the show. So he was
a little lighter than Carl, because I watched the season 1 episode the other day, and he was in it. I forget what episode it was.
They were on like a company picnic or something. He was like,
yeah. Season 1, he was.
I
But
don't
a lot of
remember the
revamps
specific
were
theme of
done.
the episode, but-
Mo had I think dark hair
Well,
originally.
had like black hair.
Black
yeah,
hair
like,
originally.
It's like grayish.
Barney had yellow hair instead of, and
That's
then
right.
after season 1, they decided to not give any other characters other than the main family yellow hair. Like how Bart's hair is
They
just.
said the
like
original animators were Klasky Supo, which was they also did Rugrats cartoon at the time.
Oh, did they? Yeah, that makes
that was
sense.
it. So if you look at the animation styles, not that I've seen Rugrats for
yeah.
15 years, they had a similar grainage to them. So.
Yeah, it's that grainy. Well, that was
But
good
I actually
stuff.
find that the terrible animation kind of nostalgic.
Oh, of course, the cell animation was great. Then once they went digital, I kind of like got nauseous with it. I was like, oh, it's not Cell. Cell's got that crisp character to it. It's just something
it's
warm. Yeah,
It's the same as listening to like a vinyl record.
It's because that grit, and it shows that somebody physically put those cells together, and it you feel the workmanship in it, as opposed to somebody just coloring it on a computer. Yeah, and a fucking program.
Speaking of the first episode, I actually read something very interesting online the other day, that the last episode of Simpsons actually occurred already. You know how the first episode is actually a Christmas special episode? Yeah. Well, about 2 or 3 years ago, there was also a Christmas special episode where it showed the future of Bart.
Oh yeah, I see. I think I've seen bits of that. Yeah.
There was a disagreement, or something happened with the writers and the producers, where they thought they were going to try to make an episode that would be the final episode. And I thought it was actually a great would-be final episode.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to close it.
Well, years ago, this year, maybe in 2008.
It's all about money, though.
2000, maybe in 7, they were going to close it out with a movie.
Sure.
The movie
Well, 2000.
The movie did decently well.
I thought they should have closed it. When I seen the movie, I was like, "That's it. We could close this chapter of our world," you know, because they were slacking at that point, you know. Like you could watch newer episodes and get chuckles at them, but they're not classic like they used to be. They're just kind of like
and a sad point.
yeah, season 5,
These
season
days,
6.
I typically, if I'm
7.
watching Simpsons, I watch every year. I'll watch the Halloween special. I never miss it. Besides the Treehouse of Horror, as Steve said, I don't typically. I'll watch them casually, but as far as new episodes are concerned, they're not on my radar.
When it was winter, when it was so cold out here in New York in February, when I was bored, I was trying to watch all the newer episodes. I watched up to season 19. I couldn't make it any further.
The marathon did pique my interest, though. I did see.
Oh yeah, they had the marathon. They had every Simpsons episode on FXX in August. Yeah, August 2014.
It was like 5 days straight Simpsons.
Yeah, if not longer.
Fans would see if they could take the test of sitting there for however long that marathon was, and not many people, you know.
I watched for the classic episodes. Once it got to season 10
there's no
or
marathon
9,
to that extent, but there's long marathon. You watch all the Lord of the Rings and Hobbits in sequence.
Oh yeah,
that'll take you
fucking the whole day to do.
It'll take you about the same time to drive to Florida from New York, essentially, non-stop. By the way,
take you fucking 19 hours.
On Sunday night, honestly, I look forward to seeing Game of Thrones
naturally
than something like The
but
Simpsons.
See with
sure,
the Game
no,
of
me
Thrones,
too. I mean, Game of Thrones
your
is an
perspective.
epic show.
You haven't even read the full books.
I've read through into the middle of book 4, but honestly, book 4 it drags and
it does not drag at all.
It does because
the books are phenomenally.
The show does not portray much of what's going on in that.
But
I'm strictly a show guy for Game of Thrones. I like the show. I like the characters. I don't fuck with them. I have enough books and comics to read without having to read.
No,
more
but you
books.
want to look at the
As of
original
right now.
lore.
I need Star Wars.
You
books
look
to
at the
read.
original lore, then you judge it because you want to look through.
Yeah, Flav reads them. My friend Flav.
At this point, the show is way off what's going on in the books.
That's what I hear.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They've taken
characters, plot lines, and combined them, and there's no going back now.
No, yeah, they've taken
whatever's going on in the show.
Pretty different.
Completely different than what's the book, and they're far ahead. Not far ahead, but they're pretty far.
Well, that's a problem.
From what's going on in the books.
There's still
what's going on with Sansa. What
listen,
she got done to
as
her,
far as the books are
never
concerned,
happened in the books yet.
As far as the books are concerned, there was supposed to be 2 more, but even that might not be finished in time, or in reality, in his lifetime.
Yeah, he might croak.
He has the appearance of Santa Claus.
He does.
He lives in a New Mexican compound.
Yeah. Hey, he's from Hoboken. He's from down the block over here.
Bayonne.
Bayonne, excuse me.
So
he even said on Conan.
Being Staten Island residents.
You were, yeah.
The island of
from
Staten
Island. Staten Island, New York.
Compared it to Westeros during his childhood because of the bright lights.
Yeah, he said that on Conan. You're right.
Sure, all the rape and violence was also a fact.
Yeah, violence of Staten Island. Well, yeah, he had said that on Conan. He was like, "Yeah, I always wondered what fantastic things were going on in Staten Island with the bright lights." And then he was like, "Then I went there, and it wasn't that good."
What do you think he based the Dothraki off of?
Yeah, well, over the people of Mariners Harbor.
Oh, how you doing?
You want some crack?
I would say more of like maybe Mexico City or India or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, sure, yeah. So I mean, but he's told the executive producers how he wants it to end, just in case he croaks before he stops writing them, because it's a possibility. The guy's not in the best shape.
His estate would control it, and then it would kind of be like a Lucas thing before he sold his soul to Disney.
Yeah,
where he had the ultimate say as far as anything that was canon within the Star Wars universe. Sure. So his estate, they would have a billion people, throwing themselves to get the opportunity to finish the Game of Thrones story. His estate would have to read through and be like, do we like this? Do we not?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the deal with Lucas and Disney. Lucas made sure within the deal, within the paperwork of the deal, the contract, that the special editions of the Star Wars trilogy were the only editions. The original movies that everybody wants, without all the nonsense he put in there in the special editions, they were bye-bye. They were gone. And Disney's not going to be able to reproduce them. Obviously, you can get them pirated on the internet, but if you wanted to buy like the Blu-ray or the digital download, it's going to be the special editions are the Star Warses now. They're not the originals. They're not what we have on VHS in my room.
The only thing great about the originals that was edited out was the very end of Return.
Oh, there's more than just one thing.
But
you're talking about the
personal
laptee neck. Thank you.
No, with when they had the ghost, the Jedi ghost, you see old Anakin.
Yeah, they have the Sebastian Shaw as Anakin Skywalker.
Hayden Christensen.
And they stuffed in Anakin Christensen. You thought that was the only thing?
No, but when I look at his face in Star Wars, he's like, I want to vomit. He was such a terrible actor. His portrayal, such a influential character.
I blame the screenwriter. I blame this little guy called George Lucas a lot. Because this
Goiter too.
he wrote it from his goiter. Oh, I usually write from my goiter directly from there.
Well, his daughter does look like a sand person. I'm not sure.
She's not to rag on Lucas. I love the guy, but yeah, his daughter's is a MMA fighter. I think she fought in Australia. She got her ass whooped. I think she was all bloody in the pictures. Maybe she didn't get her ass whooped, but I mean, what can I say? I grew up with the prequels, but. They're not the originals.
Especially.
I also that was my least favorite. Yeah,
horrendous.
But I grew up with listen. I was a big Star Wars fan before the prequels came out, before the special editions came out.
Of course,
I had them. Yeah, like some people, a lot of kids my age in their mid to late 20s. They're like, oh, I love Star Wars. And they started with the prequels.
And we started the prequels. Whereas, if you want to look, which is a huge.
I was already well into Star Wars before the prequels came out.
Even though the company was relatively known, it blew them up was Kenner Toys and the.
Oh yeah, Kenner Toys. Hell yeah. Well, I mean,
based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, relatively obscure company.
Relatively obscure. In fact,
they got the rights for some shitty
bubble gum. Yeah. Well, what happened was it was a company. Well, and I got all this from a great documentary called Plastic Galaxy.
Oh,
it was
fantastic.
It's good if you're a big fan of
the toys or the collectibles.
Yeah, if you're like any kind of nostalgia collector of toys, and you were into Star Wars toys or collecting toys in general, and know the Kenner Toys or G.I. Joes, this was a good one. It was directed by a guy called Brian Stillman. It was released I think last year.
I think 2014.
Yeah, it's called Plastic Galaxy: The Story of Star Wars Toys. It's like an hour and a half, and it's a fun one. It's a fun watch, and actually it's on YouTube right now.
The entire one. I had
somebody put it on YouTube. Yeah, I see it right here.
I love when.
Yeah,
so
do
I.
It might suck for the.
We have these little 25-cent toys in Staten Island, like the homies that we used to get when we were kids.
Yeah,
the documentary on that is actually pretty.
Yeah, Vice did it.
That was on Vice.
Vice did a documentary on that.
Shorter things.
That was like almost like a vignette about it. It was like a little 10-minute short.
Vice have good 8-9 minute things.
Sure. It's funny. I'm looking at my YouTube. I wrote because Jar Jar's the key to all this, which is a quote from George Lucas, and I wrote one of his quotes. It's bold in terms of jerking people around, and somebody was like, "Well, to be honest, he actually meant the phrase is negative," and I was like, "Oh, shut up! I know that, you idiot!" Like,
speaking of Jar Jar, which is a great one of the Lucas film reps, big marketing guy, whatever. He got a specially made thing for some sort of celebration, holiday, wedding, who knows.
Oh.
And it's actually Jar Jar Binks and Carbonite.
I saw that, sure.
And,
it was for San Diego Comic-Con. They made the toy of it.
Well, it was initially made for an exec. He got like a personal.
Oh, was it?
And then it had such a great response.
Oh, sure.
Like, we have to do this.
They did it for
Comic-Con.
It was like a couple years ago.
I think you could purchase it now for an exorbitant price. But
I thought it's not too bad. I think it's like
for like a size
it's
of
definitely
your living room, like a life-size
one. Oh, you want a life-size one? Oh, well, they made a toy of it.
Yeah.
Jar Jar.
I'm saying like for a living room, put on your mounted on your wall.
That would be.
It was in the thousands, but that's where it initially came from.
Yeah,
was a giant
I'm checking eBay right now, and they have the 2012 San Diego Comic-Con Carbonite Chamber with exclusive Jar Jar and Carbonite. $200 or best offer. You could probably pull it down for
for the action figure.
Yeah, for the little toy. Yeah, you could probably get it for like $150 or something like that if you tried. Yeah, I see one starting.
If you're going to spend thousands of dollars on a nostalgic collectible, the ultimate would be a DeLorean vehicle because it's technically a car.
And a lot of people do. I've seen those around.
There's a couple on Staten Island that are full retrofitted as the DeLorean for the movie. I have pictures of one.
A handful in my life. I've maybe seen two or three.
There's one in Eltonville. There's one in our neighborhood.
But I mean, they're not extremely. You get one $25-30 They're shitty cars in it within a driving perspective, but just the look is phenomenal.
Oh no! Oh well, yeah, they're slow.
You're not driving across the country. Absolutely not.
No,
you're driving a limited.
They have like 100 horsepower. This thing. You would think it's a sports car.
You go on the high one of those, you might as well go back in time.
Yeah, you might as well.
It's
a cool toy, to drive or bomb around in. Definitely,
it's a toy that's a vehicle, which has that kind of. Absolutely, I would say
it's like driving around a Batmobile almost.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's on the lines of Batmobile. I mean, They had the Atlantic City Boardwalk Comic Con. I think what do they call it, the ABBC.
I've never been to one of those.
Oh, it was good. I wish I'd known it was.
Go? I saw it recently because like some of the comics I read, they had advertisements for it actually in the paper.
I didn't fucking know. I just come back from Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, and then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, this thing happens. I totally would have went. It was obviously smaller. It's obviously going to grow, just as San Diego Comic Con has grown, and all the cons, Winter Con, all these cons have grown. New York Comic Con sold out in 6 hours, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they say there's no scalpers.
I'll fetch tickets. I'm gonna you could get Thursday tickets still, but I prefer to go Saturday.
Scalping,
yeah.
You know.
So I was in Anaheim for Star Wars Celebration for 4 days. That was awesome. But yeah, going back to the toys, that was a great documentary, and obviously we all, grew up in. I don't know about Steve as much. He didn't really. He wasn't into Star Wars until later.
Yeah, I was more into. Just like Ghostbusters and all the other ones.
Obviously,
so we were all into Barbie toys. Or?
Yeah, I'm now into Star Wars. I know how great it is. I mean, it's just not something that I was into as a child.
Right.
Things happen where you just don't get to see it, and then you don't realize how great it is. Until
looking into the history of Comic-Con, especially just because now they're such massive monsters now.
Monsters. You couldn't even
1970 was. And,
the original.
It was in front of maybe.
It's like a basement.
It might have been 100 people there.
I don't even think there was that many.
Not free comics. I'm leaving.
Yeah, it was like a couple of tables where maybe Marvel was set up.
It's almost like the first Super Bowl didn't even sell out.
Right.
And you could buy tickets at the time.
Yeah, it's just like a joke.
$2.50.
That's how it is. There's no hype. People are like, what is this shit? Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't like it. And then they grew so huge in like the last 10 years.
Speaking of another. A franchise I loved as a child, Jurassic Park, and guess what's coming out in the next month?
Wow, Jurassic Hurled.
Rehash number 3,000.
Oh man, let's fucking go back to basics and make a buck.
In my mind, The Lost World and the other ones don't exist.
Listen, I like Lost World. I don't think it's that good. But the third, I remember when I saw the third one in 2000.
Lost Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he's fucking lost him. Jeff Goldblum needs a paycheck, part 2.
Like now he just explained the internet on television.
I saw him on like some sort of real estate commercial.
No, he's like doing the internet.
Jeff Goldblum sold out, And but I liked it. I thought it was all right. It sucks, but it's all right. The third one when I seen it in theaters, I was like, done. I walked out. Done.
Sucks. They had a continuity of the movies being progressively shit.
And Joe Johnston directed it, and I still hated it.
Ninja Turtle movie progression. The first one was fantastic.
Great.
Jim Henson.
Pretty good. Not bad. I gotta get out.
Jim Henson, the biggest icon of
of the 80s and everything.
That whole
huge.
Field.
That whole
literally. So he had a big factor in all the turtles.
Sure, he definitely his crew fabricated
he died,
them.
What? I think 91. Right?
He died in the earlier 90s. Yeah,
maybe 93 at the latest.
Let's see what year did he die.
My favorite franchise.
What I was saying, but with the
let's interrupt you. Don't interrupt Sean. We'll go back to Chris Pratt in a second.
The second movie was, it was good. Not
What'd you say,
great.
Jim Henson, right?
Jim Henson.
Who was I thinking of? I'm thinking of Frank Oz.
Frank Oz.
He croaked in 1990.
Frank Oz was his sort of Padawan, if you will.
He was Padawan. That was the thing. Lucas went to Jim Henson first to get Yoda going, and Jim Henson was like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm doing fucking Muppets in fucking hell, wherever he was." He was doing the Muppet movie. The original Muppet movie was '79, so he was busy on that. He's like, "But why don't I refer you to Frank Oz?" And Frank Oz was the one, and he does the voice.
Everything from Henson.
Yeah. He was his protege for sure.
You look at which, in my opinion, most everyone's. Everyone has their own specifics, but The Empire Strikes Back was Frank Oz's kind of glory. I mean, the original Yoda was just powerful, but Jabba too.
Oh no, I love Jabba. Jabba was like
animatronic sort of greatness.
Yeah, and just that no CG, just a bunch of people and like artists, coming together to build something physical. And it wasn't just one guy in a computer. It was a collaboration of conceptual artists, and and he had 6 people inside Jabba, bringing that thing to life. It's so lifelike. I know, and Yoda too, but Return of the Jedi is that movie's Yoda, like that movie, like that believable,
a massive slug figure.
Yeah, like they topped it.
How absurdly difficult that is to make that look mildly realistic and not nonsense.
Oh my god, yeah, I mean,
because you think of nonsense animatronics when you're a small child, you go to Chuck E. Cheese and they had those little bands singing.
Yeah, the band at Chuck E. Cheese.
That is animatronics at its worst.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
I
actually heard about that game. It's supposed to be great, but
horrible, terrible.
It's supposed to be very different, is what I'm saying.
It's a very simple game, but there's all jump scares and people enjoy it. Like, it's a big you know how people watch, like PewDiePie, you watch these people play video games on YouTube, and apparently Five Nights at Freddy's was great.
There was a great South Park where they did that, where they were old because they were actually playing the video games. Where, what's his name? Ike, Kyle's brother. They don't watch you play, and they're like, "Oh, you guys actually play the game?"
Oh yeah, I seen that episode. He's just watching PewDiePie play. Yeah, I saw that.
So, and then Carbon, of course, makes his own show.
Yeah. But it's true. I don't know. The biggest YouTube people that have the biggest subscribership are people that do,
and especially
watching
the
video
Minecraft
games,
stuff. Which
I guess it's funny, but I don't know. 15 million subscribers is crazy.
The Minecraft
PewDiePie
stuff
has over 30 million.
Oh, he's got even 30 million. Yeah, he's the most subscribed on YouTube.
He's from abroad somewhere, am I right?
Denmark.
No, he's Swedish.
Sweden?
Okay. I was going to say Norway.
He
one of the Nordics.
Yeah, one of
them.
them.
But right now he lives in England with his girlfriend, who's...
Yeah, he's Sweden.
I do watch PewDiePie, I'm not going to lie. Some of his stuff.
So this is his career now.
I'm so busy that I can't...
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, I heard he made 14 million last year.
I've heard of it. I've never actually fully watched it.
Nah, I don't. Like, he's on the lines with Jenna Marbles and all these other schlocks.
Jenna Marbles is not a Let's Play. PewDiePie's more...
No, I'm just... the highest end YouTube earners,
See, who I enjoy years back was the Angry Video Game Nerd. He used to have his little YouTube stuff.
Who?
He used to start.
He would rant. The Angry Video Game Nerd. He would rant.
Who?
Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah.
Which guy is that?
He was like
I forgot what his real name is.
Early mid 2000s.
He played only Nintendo
He would play retro shitty games and just rant on them how bad they were.
What is this?
Oh yeah, I've seen this channel before. He started in 06.
He has a website now, actually.
Yeah, no, he's big on retro gaming and shit.
This was
he's on the lines to a lot of guys I know. He's like,
popularity was like 10
right.
years ago.
He's a
great,
game reviewer. Then you have Nostalgia Critic who does movies and shit, or guys like Schmoes Know or Red Letter Media.
He's the first one that I personally remember watching. When I was like 16 years old, and he was good.
Right. 16? No, he started in 06.
Nah, it might have been 05. It was a while ago.
But yeah, I'm 9-10 years, sure. But no, we got time. And then
So as I was saying,
we'll go back to Chris Pratt for a minute.
Well, before you just started barging on off topic, that's great. We also need fresh beers, by the way. So you can
need another round.
Top one
right.
off.
Well, I brought some beers. If you want to, go get yourself, you motherfuckers. Anyway, Chris Pratt is.
What do you got to say about Chris Pratt?
I don't know.
So do you want to have sex with him, or is that?
No, not necessarily, but.
Does he give you erections? Is that your?
Yeah. Does he make your blood flow in that area?
He makes my blood flow for other reasons because he looks like. It's like no emotion in this Jurassic Park movie, just from the previews.
Well, it's clearly just an entire CGI, dinosaur, montage. But
we've seen this story play out before.
What's Spielberg's involvement with?
I don't think he has much involvement. It's directed by Colin Trevorrow, which what did he do? He did I can't even name a damn thing he's done. But he's like a known director and screenwriter. He did the movie Safety Not Guaranteed. Did you see that?
Did not.
I didn't see it either. But
I don't even remember the title, to be honest with you.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think Spielberg might be executive producing. Let's peep this.
He has some.
Well, Frank Marshall.
In the credits, but I don't know.
Well, Frank Marshall's producing it, who's the husband of Kathleen Kennedy, who's running Lucasfilm. So they're all pals together. Obviously, Spielberg hasn't touched anything since The Lost World. He directed Lost World, but Joe Johnston directed the third one, and it's also it's story by Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver. They're Hollywood story people. Screenplay was by the combination of them, Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly. Derek Connolly's done some schlock, such as has he done anything?
We know Chris Pratt did.
Flight of the Navigator, which is coming up.
I just don't think that's the right. Jurassic Park is the right movie for Chris Pratt.
I gotta be honest. I'll be more forgiving about Chris Pratt in Jurassic Park than
I think it's a career role for him because that's what he can do. He could do his kind of action role that's not realistic.
Right. He does the show. What's it called? Parks and Recreation, right?
Yeah, I think he just finished actually. Its
Is the
final
show's
season.
done? Yeah, I didn't really watch that. I know you liked
Polar,
it.
Zari kind of fan.
Yeah, those people.
It was marginal. I think The Office was better in its
Oh
prime,
yeah,
but it had a similar type humor.
similar humor to The Office.
It
I
was
like
kinda
The Office when
NBC
it's
sort of
prime.
themed,
Okay, that kind of schlock.
But Carell, was
Oh
definitely.
yeah, he's great in The Office. When it was at its prime, obviously when it died, it was like
the last two
fucking
seasons
snoozer. I didn't even watch the last season.
But within a prime
Snoozing,
perspective, he's good being an actor within unrealistic kind of fantasy type setting.
Yeah, and he's kind of like he was good in Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy was a good movie. But I think it was great. I didn't think it was as good as everybody liked it. Like I thought it was like Star Wars, fun,
I
action
thought
adventure,
it was
kind of all
better
those lines.
than Age of Ultron, personally.
Yeah, I mean you could argue that,
within
sure.
The
You could
comic,
argue.
within the comic perspective.
I mean, a lot of people will fucking fight you on that, like young kids, because young kids today, Marvel is everything. The MCU is.
Within the comic perspective, Ultron was way more just powerful, almost dominant.
Yeah, they kind of made him as like a.
They made him just like a prankster.
Like
so James Spader's annoying voice.
The way that I saw it in the trailer made it seem like he was gonna be like, like a destructive, like evil, like Darkseid would be in Superman. Was that Dark? That was the biggest bad guy in Superman.
Darkseid's huge.
So just like a big, huge evil character that you needed the Hulk and Thor and all these huge, strong characters to beat this guy. Instead he was kind of, I'm a computer program with James Spader's voice.
As Burley mentioned previously, the movies and the actual literature or original stories deviate massively.
Right.
You look at the last X-Men to come out, Days of Futures Past.
Oh, that was great though. I love that movie.
Great movie, especially I thought Fassbender as Magneto.
He's great.
Xavier too. They're both do fantastic.
Oh yeah, what's his name? I keep forgetting his name.
British guy. Fassbender's German.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Fassbender's good. Was directed by Bryan Singer. What's his name? James McAvoy.
McAvoy, correct. What was I gonna say? So within the original story arc of Days of Futures Past, Mystique's not even in the book at all.
And Wolverine's not the one that does all that shit. It's the other character.
No, Wolverine was with Kitty Pryde, essentially. He's one of the people that don't actually die.
Yeah, but he's not the. I don't think he was the in that storyline. He wasn't actually the one finding everybody and doing that. But that worked really well because it's just like you use him as the main character. We got to do this. We got to do that. And it worked well, to follow.
Even though Singer is a weirdo in his personal life, getting caught with
yeah, whatever.
Like underage gay sex and all this.
Was that true?
His rumors all is massive nonsense. Look it up, man. He has a very
I'll look it up right now.
Personal life. That he has the money to keep under wraps.
Personal life. Singer's openly bisexual. I mean, sure. Oh, wait.
No, there's a lot of skeletons in his closet, that's for sure.
Because he's a little gay? I mean, he's only half gay.
He's saying, come on. These 17-year-old twinks at his house and shit.
Hey, listen, if the twinks are 18, there's nothing you could say about it. You going to frown upon his twink loving? Who doesn't love a little twinkie every now and then, right, Steve?
Yeah.
That's why he kept mentioning Chris Pratt. So
he loves Chris. He loves Chris Pratt. All right, so I mean, actually, there is legal issues. A 14-year-old accused him of shower scene with him or something.
He's skeletons there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some dirt under his some skeleton in there.
Aaron Hernandez and just put it out there. You don't even hide.
Aaron Hernandez. Not to get off topic, but Aaron Hernandez was in a prison fight the other day. He was like a lookout. Not to get off topic.
Well, I saw him in court the other day. There's a picture of him. He had a new tattoo, and it said "Lifetime" on his neck now.
What a fucking scumbum!
This is where where he's doing his sentencing. It's like 3 miles from Gillette Stadium, which is
oh wow, fans can come visit him.
Apparently, he could hear the crowd roar when he.
That's my crowd.
In the yard,
when he's raping fellow inmates.
It's crazy. I don't know what goes through these. What happens is they get concussions, or they just get this self-inflation of their own ego. Well, I could do anything, even kill.
His story was he was always sort of a gangbanger type dude.
Yeah, he was a thug. Sure.
There's a famous story actually. He went to the University of Florida, and while he was
we're getting off topic. Let's speed it up. One story, and then we'll go.
Well, he was playing there. Tim Tebow was his actual quarterback. So he's at a bar being his thug self.
I think I've heard this story. Sure.
Breaking bottles, essentially. Which no one will find surprising at
all.
Right. Except this is a college version, so he's probably even more drunk.
Yeah, he's probably more of a fucking scumbum.
And Tim Tebow, breaks up the fight, gives the bar owner, $500, and he's like, I'm really sorry for all your troubles. I'll tell you, he should run for Congress.
Tim Tebow?
The South.
Yeah, he'd probably do really good there.
Yeah, it's way too religious for my taste.
Oh, me too. Not to get political.
No, I'm saying the South, football.
Oh, they would love
Christian,
him, football and Christians.
He's
No. I mean, no. Listen, I'm not to get
deal.
political, but you're right. He would do really good out there for that.
Congressman.
For that, yeah,
10 years.
He would probably do good for them. I mean, hopefully he
It's
would
better
make
than
the
our
right decision.
Congressman Michael Grimm. Who,
Yeah,
puts
Michael
Staten
Sin.
Island in,
What a thought! I kept telling people he was going to jail. I kept telling him, bro, he's a saint. He wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah, I voted for him.
I remember people saying he wouldn't hurt a fly, and then that video came out where he's like, "I'll throw you off this balcony.
I'll smash many flies."
Yeah, he was gonna smash those flies.
I like him.
Fly.
He put those
I
liberal
swear.
yuppies in check, so
I
voted for
Puts
him.
the yuppies in check. For you voted for Grimm?
Of course I did.
Oh,
I mean, he
God.
has a deviant nature.
I voted for the lesser of the two evils, the Democrat.
I'd vote for Rob Ford, honestly, if I was.
Oh, Rob Ford. Well, he's Canadian,
Oh,
but
God. If I was in Canada, yeah, I'd be voting for
I
Rob
would literally
Ford,
vote
too.
for anyone or anything
We'll
over
smoke
Hillary
crack
Clinton.
with him on the corner.
Yeah, why not?
I would rather vote for a homeless person, Hillary Clinton, if that came down to it.
Oh, it's
Stop
gonna
it.
come down to it because
All right.
she's running.
No more politics. Back to Chris Pratt. Now, I was all on board for Jurassic World until I saw they put a. Yeah, we cut it out at 10:30. I saw a
The preview.
not the trailers. The trailers looked alright. I didn't like the fact that he's wrangling raptors.
And
Like,
speaking to
not-
raptors.
yeah, he's like
Yeah, really.
the raptor whisperer.
Whisperer,
Like
right?
those things are supposed to be vicious, smart animals. Like, oh yeah, human, and then they rip their face. They would.
It's like the guy that she's on Netflix. He was living with grizzly bears, and they fucking killed him.
Yeah, there's a few
It's
guys
like,
that.
oh, let me hug and kiss this grizzly bear, which is the biggest land,
Yeah,
vicious monster,
vicious
that can
animal.
kill you. And let me hug it, kiss it, and
Kiss it. Give it a little
Oh,
kiss.
wait, I'm surprised he gets malted. Though.
He just gave me a bear hug.
Literally.
Way unexpected.
Yeah, it was unexpected. All
That
right.
reminds me of actually, it was in a local story within the New York metro area. Six Flags Great Adventures have a safari closed down, unfortunately, recently. About
Yeah, I
2
heard about
years ago.
that. Yeah, no, we
But
can't.
when it initially opened in the 70s,
Yeah.
they had open range for all the animals, including lions and such.
It sounds
And
sounds
so,
smart.
There's these idiots I'm sure they were drunk or high or what have you, and they see a lion.
Naturally.
So they roll down the window.
What's up, lion? Were they taunting it?
They're clearly messing with the lion, like throwing things at it.
Oh, little lion,
So the lion, as you know where the story's going,
Yeah.
pulls the
No.
guy's face off.
Oh,
Loses
fudge.
half his face, including his eyeball, and like
It's not funny.
completely disfigured. Looks like the Phantom of the Opera. Has to put him out. Half his face is not there. Two face.
He's like, what's it called from
Harvey
Boardwalk
Dent.
Empire?
He's
Or
like Harvey Dent.
Okay.
Exactly. So, according to a lawsuit, but somehow the law it survived. There's in modern era. These all these fraudulent lawsuits.
Yeah,
Al
yeah.
Sharpton's daughter, $5 million, and she's on like in the fucking mountains.
Yeah. Okay. Get to the point. Is there a point, or is it just that the guy got his face mauled? Show when you left it. Yeah, I unfortunately can't do that. And I have a season pass there, so. So what there was that not the trailer that bothered me. It bothered me. I don't want to get into the fact that the story might be lame. It's like I didn't like that. I was like, oh, he's wrangling raptors. I mean, I guess you have to change up what you've done. Because they did the same thing a million times.
The water dinosaur was really
I thought that was cool. Again, that's like
SeaWorld.
But almost
Yeah.
looked too excessive, like that beast in a
well,
SeaWorld
they're
tank.
yeah. Well, they're
How you gonna control that thing?
Well, they're topping. They're topping
not that
what they've
there's
done in
any
the last.
realism within it, but the 15th.
In the third one, they had that dinosaur that was bigger than the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Well, yeah. So basically, the plot line is that the attractions aren't like great enough. Like dinosaurs aren't
It's-
like more entertaining enough. So they're gonna make a new dinosaur.
Oh, yeah, they were genetically modified.
And if you notice, they
GMO
haven't,
dinosaurs.
if
yeah.
you notice, they haven't actually showed what they look like yet.
I think there was some sort of glimpse of this.
There's some glimpses.
Within the previews,
But
I haven't went searching.
none
for
of that bothered me. I'll tell you when I started to get bothered. I was a little bothered by the wrangling of the dinosaurs when I seen the trails. I was like, oh god, this is where we're going with it. All right, I'll watch it. But when I seen a dialogue scene between Chris Pratt and the chick that works for InGen, I guess, whatever company is running Jurassic World now, and it was like just bad banter. It was just like him making like. Corny, like, innuendo jokes, like, oh, hey, I'll get under your shirt anytime. Some schlock like that. I'm just like, oh, fuck, do we have to watch this? It was like a 4-minute scene. I was like, I hope they cut that down in editing because it was groan worthy.
In their previews, they like to show like the best of the
Right, yeah, this wasn't the trailer though. This was just they were showing a spot. It was a spot on YouTube that they were showing it, and I groaned so bad.
To use the last topic,
So that was making me nervous. Even though a few guys were really pumped last week, they were all pumped for Jurassic World. I was like, I would be.
I'm excited to see it.
To use the last topic for this cast would be the movies for the upcoming summer with Jurassic.
Sure, well, yeah, we'll talk about those.
And Avengers as well. Then you have Mad Max.
Mad Max Fury Road, which I have yet to see. I've been beefing up. I watched Mad Max and Mad Max Road Warrior.
I love Mel Gibson.
Oh, he's
a icon.
Yeah, true icon before he blacklisted himself. He's a bad seed in Hollywood's
I
eyes.
don't agree with his views.
Yeah, well, Steve's got a personal gripe with him.
Some Israeli relations.
Do you have anything to say about that, Steve?
Yeah, Mel Gibson could rot.
Yeah, Steve don't like Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Steve also, as you could say, is frequents Israel and has those sort of.
Well, Steve makes his stops in Israel every so often.
So
he's Jewish,
guess
so
his
he
take on
doesn't like the stuff that Gibson said. I don't like it either. It was really. I mean, come on. You don't say.
Not that I say I can.
Fucking drunken idiot.
I don't say I condone it, but you have to appreciate his outspokenness.
Yeah, he's a fucking dick. But I mean, of course, those are good movies. Mel Gibson was good in his day, et cetera, et cetera. That made his career. And what's his name?
They invited him to the premiere. He was taking pictures of all the leads, the cast, the director. So
yeah, and you got to give credit to what's his name, George Wilson? Is it George? No, George Miller, the director of Mad Max. That guy's fucking 70-something years old and is
still
pumped
doing
out a freaking great movie.
Phenomenal reviews.
98% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. I have yet to see it. I've been beefing up watching the original Mad Max.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna watch Thunderdome.
I plan on checking it out sometime.
Soon, yeah.
5-6 days.
Because now tomorrow, I actually just watched the other night Age of Adeline. That was all right. I watch every movie I want to see. Ex
you want
Machina.
a date or something? Because I don't know what else you'd watch Age of Adeline.
No, I watched it. But so I also watched Ex Machina. That was really good, and I saw
I've heard phenomenal.
It was really good. Kingsman was good.
Kingsman.
It was good. It was good.
I want to go out of my way to see it.
I didn't go out of my way, and I wouldn't have. But it was good. You
catch
it on
Netflix,
TV now.
Redbox type thing.
Yeah, you can catch it and enjoy yourself. They're making a sequel to that.
Movie theater.
They set it up good for a sequel, like a James Bond type.
Movie Pixel, the one.
Talk about Pixels for a second. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Adam Sandler productions, the Happy Madison shit in the recent years. I love the stuff from the 90s. It's more stuff that I grew up with. Obviously, Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, and then going all the way up to Big Daddy, and I even liked Little Nicky. Those movies I liked. I mean, I guess I was a little kid. I mean, a lot of them get terrible reviews.
If you have the mentality of a 10-year-old, you're going to enjoy Adam Sandler.
If you at a
you're either
third grade reading
retarded
level,
or you can color a book.
Yeah, if you have an IQ of
Tyrions and Pixels.
Steve's got a man crush on
Tyrion
Lannister.
He's clearly made numerous gay comments, but maybe he's just relaying it. He's relaying a theme.
He's like an action hero now, He's in these movies. He was in Future Past. Yeah, you give him that credit. But in fact, I was watching one of them shows when I was in Cali. There was no, good TV in the room. It was like 3 a.m. I'm like, what's on? It was like Little People TV show, and one of them was like, look what Peter Dinklage has done for our people. I was like, that's true. He's a fucking.
It was actually smaller person themed television show.
Yeah, it's like Little Women or something in the city. It was just on. It was nothing else on but infomercials.
I'd rather watch an infomercial personally.
It was nothing else on but infomercials. But it kind of drew me in for a second because whatever.
Well, a new vacuum cleaner or like, hey,
yeah, that's
he's
that was the
he's independent.
I know.
Watch the vacuum cleaner.
So the plot line for this movie Pixels anyway is that we send out like a time capsule into space with everything from the 80s, and apparently the only thing that the aliens see is
dildos.
Well, that and also the video games from the 80s, such as Pac-Man and Space Invaders, and they take it as a threat.
I have an arcade nostalgia. I love going.
We go to Barcade all the time. We love retro gaming. It's the name of the podcast, Retro Arcade, even though we're not huge gamers.
Original Donkey Kong. It's phenomenally hard. But that's what makes it very interesting.
Yeah, Sean actually has done the best out of the original Donkey Kong. He got to like the third level.
I actually played the new Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on the Wii U.
How do you like that? It's really good. But yeah, but Pixels. To be honest, I'm not one. Like I said, I like this new Adam Sandler schlock.
That as well.
Yeah, I think he's
that
in it.
seems up his alley.
Yeah, he's in it.
Everyone that Adam Sandler gives a paycheck is in there.
Yeah, anybody who gives him a pay.
The sad thing, well, it's funny. The best, in my opinion,
I didn't
Happy
see Paul
Madison,
Blart's.
The best Happy
Madison
Madison
production,
production was Grandma's Boy, and he's not in the movie.
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
why
That
it's
was a
actually
good
good.
one. Yeah, I'll give that a lot of credit.
What's a better Happy Madison production than Grandma's Boy?
Happy Gilmore?
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore?
Because you're
That's
thinking,
the
you think it was like that was his breakout role, but
Nah, I think that was his best.
watch it,
I like that more than Billy Madison. A lot of people will argue with that, but I think that's my
I can't
favorite.
watch that
It's either
Sandler
Billy
though.
Madison or
Yeah, no. As I grew older, I kind of realized that he's a fucking hack. After Jack and Jill, that's when I realized.
See, well, a comedic
I realized
actor,
what a
I think I
phony he
enjoy
was.
Blood.
I was forced to watch that on a plane ride to Israel.
No wonder.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, of course, but that was it for
Funny
me.
story. One of my military friends told me about movie plane rides. So it's a complete plane full of Marines, and they put on Brokeback Mountain during the plane ride full of Marines.
Full of Marines.
The Marines
Oh,
start
shit.
rioting, literally.
Turn this
throwing
off!
things, screaming.
Breaking chairs.
The flight crew had to turn off the movie. The military members
Might as well.
made a very they weren't having it.
Yeah,
And I just found that to be an entertaining.
that's funny. No, we got a few more minutes before we wrap it up. Finally, we're gonna do a full hour, and then we got about 9 minutes. But yeah, but to be honest, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the shit he's done recently. But this actually entertained me. You know what the premise kind of remind me of? Almost like a Ghostbusters type thing, where you got these fish.
Don't get me started on Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's
female
another. I guess
cast
we'll do that.
defeating.
We'll do that for the next time.
Insulting
We
to
don't
me.
have enough time to talk about that right now.
Tell you how it's an insult.
We could do a whole-
spit in the face to every Ghostbusters fan out
All
there.
right, we'll take it easy because there's plenty to talk about with that, and also the 21 Jump Street, Men in Black mashup. Sony's doing a mashup for those two. Really, Sean's looking at me like blankly. But yeah, we don't have enough time to talk about that schlock. But I kind of see this Pixels as kind of like a Ghostbusters type theme. Like not ghosts, but like alien type stuff. And then these idiots got to go fight it.
The one scene that they show is like the creator of Pac-Man coming out to the big pixel Pac-Man.
I saw
like,
it. Oh, I make you.
It's like,
Oh, you bite my dick, and then you didn't even notice.
because he's like, come, Daddy's here, Daddy's here.
I saw
And he
that.
goes, like, to pet it and it bites his arm and turns all pixely.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't like
You
that.
need more gore and blood to have it. A realism to a Pac-Man.
I mean,
biting
I'll
an Asian
probably
man.
watch it. I like the concept. It should be goofy, and I don't know how funny it'll be. To be honest, I don't find Kevin
wanna go
James
to
all that
Barcade.
funny. I'll go to Barcade soon, but I don't find Kevin James all that funny. I find him likable, but I don't find him that funny. Like Paul,
The only
any of
time I
yous watch
actually like
Paul
root
Blart?
for Kevin James when you go to a New York Mets game, he goes on the loudspeaker, "Let's go Mets."
Oh,
and
yeah,
the whole
he's a
spiel.
huge Mets fan, and
He's also
I think he's a
huge
Jets
in
fan,
the physical.
He's also just
perspective,
mammoth
with
person.
A big diet.
400-pound. He's lost weight in the years. But other movies coming out, Jurassic World. So all right, I'm obviously going to see Jurassic World. Although I want it to be good, but I don't have a
you
huge
have
amount of hope.
Fantastic Four. Okay, you have Ant-Man.
Fantastic Four, Ant-Man, Jurassic World. Obviously, we got to see Mad Max. Tomorrowland had just come out. And I hear mixed reviews. I thought it was going to be better than what I heard here.
It's not on my list.
Sean's not on Sean's list. I'm going to go see it probably, and definitely I wanted to see it. It was on my list of like hopeful movies, for the summer. But Pixels are on there. Also, Steve Jobs biopic with Michael Fassbender playing him. I saw the original one with
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher. Oh,
moron. He can only play the Kelso role of that
Yeah.
70s show.
I gotta be honest. It was him doing an impression of Steve Jobs. Like I heard that it was gonna be a disaster, so I watched it expecting the worst, and it wasn't as bad as people thought. What did I give on Rotten Tomatoes? I gave it like 2.5 or something.
See,
Not even gonna look.
even 2.5 Men, which is hard to watch to begin with Charlie Sheen.
I didn't watch,
But with Charlie
that,
Sheen, it had
especially not with Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, because he's living that life in real life.
he reminds you of actually. It's funny because he's playing himself essentially.
Right, he's playing
Which-
himself.
In Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
That character became him.
he actually turned into
He's
that a little bit.
became Frank Reynolds. He's gotten
Yeah.
divorced
Yeah.
since he's gotten the role.
No,
So-
no loss there. He was married to what's her name.
Yes.
Ugh.
You want to think of
don't
like
wanna say
the
that,
cave
but-
trolls from the Billy Goats? They like charge coins.
Yeah, they were husband and wife in Matilda.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was his real wife.
She was actually conceived in Mordor. Okay.
Real he's still married to her though. It says it right here. Are they divorced? I think there was marriage troubles. I don't know if they actually got divorced. Because honestly, who are they either gonna remarry to? You know, Family Guy made a joke about that.
He's boning, you know, one of the evening.
There was a Family Guy joke. It's either me or nobody, Bunny. You know, to Rhea Perlman because it's true. They're both like the most hideous people in Hollywood. No offense to them. They're both New York.
Besides
people,
his iconic,
or he's from Jersey.
Besides of his iconic,
he's
film
70
career,
already.
He owns Jersey Films, which is another massive fucking.
I'm sure he's got bucks. Let's see what Celebrity Net Worth
bucks,
puts him at.
Please, numerous bucks. Jersey Films, alone.
Numerous bucks, multiple bucks. I'm sure he's worth. You know, let's see what Celebrity Net Worth pegs him at $70 million. So yeah, that's bucks.
Actually, The Simpsons got.
What happened?
Simpsons.
Oh, Harry Shearer.
Harry Shearer. 65, surprisingly.
65 million.
Yeah, when you're making $400K an episode.
But I also think Harry Shearer puts his money in the bank and takes it.
Doesn't do anything.
Spends it outrageously.
Fucking leg extensions.
Yeah, you're right. Harry Shearer is worth 65, but
But I think the Beatles blew through
like extensions.
Blew through money, like you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you don't see that guy drive around in Ferraris or private jets or doing these crazy things.
You see him at the bar, you're gonna have a good time.
Sure, but how much does he spend at the bar? Even if he spends 10 grand, pennies to somebody worth 70 million. But I don't know. It's just that he's got a lot of bucks. But I don't, just they were fine together. Yeah, we're cutting short in a few minutes. We got we're gonna do full hour. We got 5 more minutes, and then So what else do we got? So the Jobs movie.
We get on tangents. Unfortunately, it's
no, that's the way it goes.
It's the Pioneer episode, so working out.
Maze Runner's coming out with a sequel. I didn't see the
original
first one.
Maze Runner. Is it Schwarzenegger?
No, I didn't see the first one.
Schwarzenegger's coming back to a few movies apparently now that he's done with it.
Well, now that he needs money. I need money, you idiot.
Did any of you see the
Somebody
movie?
give me money.
I saw it for comedic purposes.
Maria, you divorce me,
I
idiot.
saw it for comedic purposes, but it was a movie with Arnold and Stallone escaping a prison, and it's supposed to be an action movie.
Oh, how many have they done?
No, but
the Expendables, the Expendables.
Them at this age, it's almost inedible grunting.
It's
yeah.
Well, you idiot.
So
you idiot.
It's the movie.
Who's less intelligible?
Came out in 2013. It's called
movie?
Escape Plan.
Oh.
And the premise of the movie is like Stallone designs a prison. Yeah, him designing. He's an architect. Yeah. So he designs a prison, and they have to bust out.
Sounds like Prison Break, whatever that show is on Fox. Like.
Yeah, Steve loved that show, Prison Break.
Well, because it was a male prison, so he was excited.
No, it was actually interesting.
Steve really loved that show. I didn't really watch it.
But yeah, just them two alone on the screen. It's comical.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these two old farts. I'm sure it's hysterical.
If you look at these action icons, they did the Expendables, and they've been kind of trying to resurrect something like Van Damme and all that.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren has become like this cult fucking.
Yeah, he's a cult hero.
Everyone knows him as Ivan Drago.
Naturally, he was also in other flicks. What was he in? I know he was in other flicks in the 80s. What he was some big dude. He was like younger than me when he was in Rocky IV, I Must Break You.
He just looks like a Soviet machine.
Yeah, I mean, even though he's like Swedish.
Well, the blonde hair, he looks Soviet. Like he was not a
Yeah,
surprise.
no, he worked well at the time. Oh, well, he's in The Punisher in 1989. He was in like those
film,
Universal Soldier, shit like that. I think that was a Van Damme flick. Shit like that. He was in a lot of schlock. Of course, he's known as Ivan Drago. That made him. And
that's how Hulk Hogan got his.
Oh, it was the third one. That was Rocky
Hulk
3.
Besides his ruinous family,
Biggest arm in the world, brother. Oh yeah, right. I was talking about this with somebody last night.
Fantastic fact about Hulk Hogan is he actually turned down the George Foreman grill.
It's true. He turned down the George Foreman grill.
And that made George Foreman millions of dollars.
$200 million. It cost Hulk Hogan $200 million because he didn't take it first.
It was going to be the Hulk Hogan grill.
Yeah.
And he's like,
burn the fat, brother.
He's like, this grill's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell T-shirts in Florida.
His like agents and shit and him, they were like, no, this is not what I... Nah, you know what? That wasn't a mistake. They had a long marriage, but the thing was that everything fell apart when his son got into that car accident.
Yeah, and then he also banged his best friend's wife on camera.
That was after the fact, though.
I don't know. This was maybe a year or two ago, but his girlfriend at the time resembled his daughter very much so.
Yeah,
and it was a little creepy.
And the wife who was because they were divorced, and they were dating
45-year-old,
and she's dating some 20-year-old blonde. He looked like a 20-year-old Hulk Hogan, like he was like a bartender or something.
A bartender like Applebee's.
Yeah, but he was like a big looked like Hulk Hogan, like blonde hair and like Diesel, and it was funny because they were both dating.
Well,
Hogan's dating a girl that looked just like his daughter. You literally couldn't tell them apart unless you were right next to them.
Well, at least he still does wrestling things, but
at
least his family's irrelevant at this point. No one cares anymore.
Yeah, well, he was on the show. I tell you, that show wasn't that bad. I watched it a little bit. Hogan knows best.
It had its little brief run, but like all reality, diarrhea.
Of course, reality.
Reality doing after that horrific car crash.
I'm sure he's lying low after that.
He might be single if you're.
Well, after that car accident, he went to jail. He vegetableized his friend. Like his friend.
Tragic.
Yeah,
and the more tragic fact is he didn't go to. He did minimal time for such an occurrence.
He did
because the family sold their dignity. Be like, oh, paycheck.
Yeah, they took paychecks from him. Sure. If I tell you, it really hurt Hogan. I mean, he had to downsize his.
The worst was if.
I seen an article. In an interview after that, he was committing suicide. He was he was thinking about suicide.
Probably doing narcotics stuff left and right.
Imagine your life crumbling after that car accident crumbled him up. Yeah, but it was like I blame Hogan because Hogan was giving his son, all this, free roam to do whatever he wants,
Look at reality. It made Bruce Jenner a woman. It literally did.
Because you mentioned Bruce Jenner?
Let's not bring up Bruce Jenner. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being gay or transgender, right? If Sean wants to become a woman, we'll allow it.
So that must mean he's gay.
Shut up.
Steve's bitter because he was making intrusive, relevant comments.
All right, we're going over here. I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're not going to talk about the Kardashians on this podcast, but that's pretty much it for this week. I'm Phil. That's Sean. This is
Steve.
And this is the Retro Podcast signing off. Everybody, have a good week and keep watching the stars. Bye-bye.